From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. This morning, we have a number of stories. We will tell you about an agreement that would allow research on spent nuclear fuel. We've got an update on a court ruling regarding media access to witness executions. We'll tell you why today is called Denim Day, and there is a lot of change in the forecast. It is Wednesday, the 30th, the final day of April 2025. I'm George Prentice. Here come today's stories. The death penalty has been debated inside and outside of the Idaho Capitol of late. That while prosecutors are anxious to carry out an execution, in particular the execution of death row inmate Thomas Creech. You may remember that an attempted execution by lethal injection was botched. His lawyers have been arguing in court, saying multiple attempts to execute Creech violate his constitutional rights. Meanwhile, there's a new issue, media access. A member or members of the media are traditionally selected from a pool of reporters to witness an execution. And now U.S. Magistrate Judge Deborah Grasham has halted Idaho executions until the state system upgrades the space so reporters can see and hear what happens before, during, and after a prisoner is put to death. The attorney representing the media says it's imperative that reporters represent the public and thus are entitled to witness the details of an execution. The Attorney General's office argues it's an undue burden to accommodate more access. Now, Judge Gresham says the state must upgrade the wing at Idaho's maximum security prison where executions take place. Idaho and the U.S. Department of Energy have agreed to waive a 1995 nuclear agreement, and that agreement would allow research on spent nuclear fuel. Julie Lucata tells us more.
The waiver will allow radioactive waste generated in a nuclear energy plant in Virginia to be sent to the Idaho National Lab for study. Lab Director of Fuel Cycle Science and Technology, Josh Jarrell, says the waste is being studied to understand how to safely store high burnup fuel, developed for increased efficiency.
We have essentially the only location in the country that can actually do what needs to be done to collect that data.
Jarrell says the spent fuel will be sealed in one 8-foot by 17 cask and shipped to Idaho in 2027.
It's a solid material. It's not a green goo, as you might see in The Simpsons. And so it's actually relatively straightforward to manage the material.
Jarrell says the lab will conduct research on the fuel for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission until 2037.
But I would expect, multiple decades worth of really insightful, beneficial research for the nuclear industry.
The INL is located west of Idaho Falls on an 890 square mile site in the desert. Julie Duqueta, Boise State Public Radio News.
Now to education. In recent years, a good many school districts report that they experienced something good, fewer absences and higher graduation rates among students experiencing homelessness. That improvement did not happen on its own. It took a lot of effort and some particular funding to support that effort. Now, Hannah Merzbach reports advocates worry that progress could be upended.
$45 million in American Rescue Plan funds went towards things in our 8-state region that most students don't need, like travel expenses and motel rooms. That's according to Barbara Duffield with Schoolhouse Connection, which advocates for homeless families.
Finding a mom and 2 kids in a tent and making sure she has a gas card so she can get the kids to school.
And according to a federal report, more of those kids did go to school across the country, and they had higher math and reading levels. But the funding was tied to the pandemic and is coming to an end. Plus, the Department of Education said extending COVID-era grants is no longer consistent with the agency's priorities. Duffield again.
Students and families are very much still recovering from the impact of the pandemic.
Some schools, she adds, have found ways to continue programs permanently, but not at the same level. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Hannah Merzbach.
April has been Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and today is Denim Day. We go back to 1999 to learn more about Denim Day. That's when the Italian Supreme Court overturned a rape conviction, and they said the victim's tight jeans implied consent. Women in the Italian parliament responded by wearing jeans to work, a symbolic act of solidarity with the victim. The campaign has spread across the globe since. A number of law enforcement agencies around the world mark Denim Day by wearing denim. Idaho State Police professional staff will wear denim as part of their uniforms today. Most importantly, we are encouraged to learn more about Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And if you are still considering what you might wear today, you may want to consider denim. Stephanie Henry is over at the National Weather Service office. Stephanie, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
What can we expect on this Wednesday?
Well, we have a low pressure system that's currently exiting the area this morning, and so we will start to see more sunny skies as high pressure builds in from the Pacific. So we're going to start to see some warming, drying conditions and sunny up through about Friday. We could see, even in the valley here, up to maybe low to mid 80s potentially, so quite warm from what we've seen.
Oh my goodness, that has to be well above normal.
Yes, our current normal is upper 60s to around 70, so we're looking at quite a warm day there on Friday. But it's not going to last too long. We're looking at another Pacific low pressure system arriving from mostly it's going to move into Northern California and then Southern California, but it's going to eject a lot of moisture up into southwest Idaho. So we could see showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that for their weekend, but could be a little bit active. So we'll see if that trend continues. Sunday looking a little bit drier, still a chance of showers, but not quite as conducive for activity as that low pressure starts to track east and away from the forecast area by Monday.
Stephanie Henry at the National Weather Service office in Boise. Stephanie, thank you so very much. Have a good Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. We will see you back here on Thursday. To stay in touch between now and then, say check out BoiseStatePublicRadio.org, or better yet, download the free Boise State Public Radio app. And thanks for listening.